So many political observers are now predicting a catastrophe that I'm predicting a catastrophe will be caused by people predicting a catastrophe. Catastrophe predicting from both the left and the right are stirring people up to so much hysteria that the catastrophe predicting is going to cause a catastrophe, or so I'm predicting. In real life, a new president has been elected by the usual lawful means and is set to work changing the course of the country along the lines he promised during his campaign. Donald Trump has so far appointed a team of accomplished individuals to staff his cabinet and agencies, moved to repeal a health care law that isn't working, chosen a talented and intelligent judge for the Supreme Court, and attempted to temporarily stop the influx of refugees until security procedures can be tightened. But that's only in real life. In the imagination of political observers, it is the onset of a catastrophe so catastrophic that only predicting catastrophe can cause enough panic to cause the catastrophe that those predicting a catastrophe are predicting. On the left, activists are predicting catastrophe so often that leftists have taken to the streets in acts of such violence that many are predicting a catastrophe. As one left-wing activist explained, quote, "I predict we are heading into a catastrophe of widespread rioting and political assassinations unless we have widespread rioting and political assassinations to head off the catastrophe I'm predicting," unquote. On the right, radio talk show hosts who predicted the Obama presidency would be a catastrophe are now predicting the end of the Obama presidency will be a catastrophe. As radio host Ned Bombastic said on his show, quote, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of getting sick and tired of being sick and tired," unquote. Mr. Bombastic went on to remark, quote, "For years I have been screaming into this microphone in a loud, annoying voice that we were being flushed down the toilet of tyranny into the sewer of socialism. Now it turns out some of these right-wing idiots got all hysterical and went out and elected Donald Trump because they thought we were being flushed down the toilet of tyranny into the sewer of socialism." What the hell does that even mean? I have no idea, and I'm the one who said it in a loud, annoying voice in the first place, unquote. At a recent meeting at the Oval Office, President Donald Trump addressed his inner circle of store mannequins wearing MAGA hats, saying, quote, "For years, I heard everyone predicting a catastrophe, and so I ran for office predicting there would be a catastrophe unless I was elected to prevent the catastrophe everyone was predicting. If I had known my election was the catastrophe everyone was predicting, I would have tried to stop it by not running for president, which would have led to the catastrophe everyone was predicting," unquote. The president then issued an executive order directing his agencies to prevent a catastrophe. Observers say the order will be a catastrophe. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan. This is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shape, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
All right, it's the full catastrophe. The Andrew Klavan Show is back, and it's Mailbag Day. Yay! Lindsay is coming home to visit us, I think, tomorrow, so she's not here to give us our woohoo. We'll have to use a recorded Lindsay woohoo when we get to the mailbag. That's later on the show, so if you're on Facebook and YouTube, you will not be able to watch that. You have to come over to thedailywire.com and you can listen, or if you subscribe, then you can watch it and be part of the mailbag. So that's just a lousy $8 a month. And well, I think we're giving away, are we giving away Jeremy's film, The Arroyo?
We are.
Come on, a lousy $8 a month, you get the Arroyo. This is great. All right, we got to start with Blue Apron. How much do I love Blue Apron? I mean, this is this thing where they deliver restaurant-level quality food to your door, and you make the food, so it's home cooking, but it tastes like you're going to a really nice restaurant, and it's very easy. It's like $10. So I like it so much. When I talk about it, I get very animated, so Austin decided he would animate me being animated, and we've actually got an animated commercial for Blue Apron. Here it is. Basically, what this is, it's like having a restaurant in your home. Not the kind of restaurants my listeners go to, where the food is inedible, but the waitresses aren't wearing any clothes. But these are places like nice people go to, where the food is really good. What they do is they send you, like it's about $10 a meal, and they send you all the ingredients you need in exactly the right proportions. And it's easy after that. You just sit back and watch your wife make the meal. But every now and again, you have to get up and chase her around the room. Maybe that's just in my house. I'm not sure. You just go on blueapron.com/Andrew Andrew, and they will give you the first meals for free, no delivery charge, nothing, so you can taste them yourself. It really was terrific. I mean, I'm not joking. It was great, great food. BlueApron.com/Andrew. It's a better way to cook. I'm sure my wife's going to love that picture of her knocking me out as I chase it, which actually happened. It was a real life thing. But excellent job, Austin. I think that was a great commercial. I think that's good. We should put that out there. All right, BlueApron.com/Andrew. You get the first 3 for free, which I don't even understand why I have to do these commercials. It's free food. I mean, all right. So here's the state of play. All right. Elizabeth Warren got Mitch slapped and told to shut up. The media has now been reduced to whining on air. Betsy DeVos is the new education secretary. I'm sorry, but I think it's time for the Trump happiness montage. It is. Let's do it.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet.
Zippity-dee-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. Yay! You'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I love it. You know, I went out to dinner with a friend. I won't mention him because I didn't ask him if I could, but this is a guy from New York in a position where he is in position to really observe politics in a deep way, you know. And I always like to see guys from New York because they've know Trump better. This guy's always been in a position to observe Trump and all this stuff. And I needed a reality check because the left is so hysterical and the right is hysterical too. And everybody is talking about, the effect and what's going to happen. Not about what's happening now, but what's going. I mean, these are all the people who were wrong about Trump getting elected are now sitting around talking about what's going to happen next and what's. And I said, you know, is it me or are these the best 2.5 weeks that conservatives have ever had in my lifetime? And I lived through Reagan. I mean, these have been 2 of the most incredible weeks. And I know we can't compare Trump to what would have happened with Hillary forever, but we have to say, as my friend said, if Hillary had gotten elected, it could well have been the end of the American experiment. And what Trump is doing is shaking things up so much. And look, I've been really honest about Trump, and some of you yell at me because you want me to only say the good things and all this stuff, but I can't do that. However, when you just look at the results, this team that he has assembled, I think Rex Tillerson is going to be a very, very pleasant surprise to people who doubted him. Betsy DeVos, you know, That was an amazing thing. I mean, that the vice president, Mike Pence, had to go in and break the tie to get Betsy DeVos in this it's a tiny department, the education department, because most money for schools comes from local property taxes and other local taxes. But the Democrats are so in bed with the teachers' unions, they had to show that they would not let this proponent of school choice get through, and she did get through. Mike Pence, another example. Come on, what a great pick. And, you know, another thing that my friend pointed out, and of course, Gorsuch, we can't go out without that. I mean, look, that was the court. If we had lost the court under Hillary, your gun rights probably would have been gone. Free speech rights, I wasn't so secure about. And we can see now as Trump goes forward arguing about his refugee pause that went before the Ninth Circuit, they call it the Ninth Circus because it's the leftiest left-wing court in the country. It's the most overturned court in the country. But right now, there are only 8 people on the Supreme Court, 4 and 4. So we can see how important this ninth guy is to let the president do what is obviously legal for him to do. That's a great pick. This assault on the bureaucratic state, the regulations. I mean, we do not, as my friend said yesterday, because I was pointing out an idea I cadged from Brett Stevens that because we're protected by the First Amendment, they can't regulate us the way they regulate everybody else. But if we were like regular small businesses, I would write a sentence and 3 lawyers from the government would show up and say, oh, that sentence hasn't been checked for environmental damage that it's done, and you have to pay health care to one of the words in that sentence, and you have to, all this stuff that the government does that makes everyone's life a misery. And this Trump is this is one of the reasons why there's so many leaks coming out of the White House, is because this is the entire administrative state is going to mobilize to try and stop him. And of course, the press has gone insane. And if there is one thing, I gave it to Trump pretty hard about this Russia comment that he made, because I just thought he was utterly wrong, and it was wrong to make the comment. However, Trump is getting picked on all the time for his overblown statements. And Trump himself says that he makes overblown statements because that's the way to make a deal. You start out with this extreme point of view, and then you can dial it back a little bit. It's kind of a strategy. However, that he has challenged the press. The press is an empire of lies. Our media, if 7% of them are Republicans, that's like most of them are Democrats. They're almost all Democrats. It would be against human nature for them not to become more and more radicalized, more and more confirmed in their bias, and more biased. But you don't even have to. You just have to look at it. So, listen to Trump as he was talking in that Bill O'Reilly interview. Listen to him talk about the press. It's about time a president said this stuff.
I read the papers. I see what's going on television. Right. I take a look. I see the lies that, the lies of, that's right. Another thing. I always got sort of good press. I was a business guy. I got good press. I did good.
I know.
I have never, I call it, fake news. Some of the networks and some of the papers, it's so, the level of dishonesty where they'll take a story that, I know good from bad.
Sure.
They'll take something that should be a good story. In fact, sometimes I say, oh, this is going to be nice to read. I'll say, whoa. And they will purposely totally change it away. It's fake news.
This is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. And on Trump himself, because I keep hearing people say Trump is stupid or all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I wish that I'm worried about where Trump gets some of his information from. I think he doesn't necessarily parse which are real news sites and which are fake news sites, which is getting harder to do, by the way. I myself am having I would say about a 30% harder time making sure that I don't come on the air and say something that's entirely untrue because I got it from some source like the New York Times, which is now a fake news site. But another thing my friend was pointing out is he said, and he was a guy who, just like me, had doubts about Trump but ended up voting for him. And he said, this is a guy, he succeeded in real estate, which is in New York real estate, very tough business. He succeeded in show business. He had a big show. And he won the presidency of the United States. After a while, it's not an accident. It's not, you don't just stumble into that stuff. So, look, I don't think the guy is playing 16-dimensional chess. I don't think everything he does is a strategy. But I think that he has found a successful way to relate to the world. And he wants to win. He does not want to be a failed president. And he's not going to be. You can just see by how hard they are working. So now he goes after the press on terrorism. And he says he's talking, I guess, to military people in Florida.
And all across Europe, you've seen what happened in Paris and Nice. All over Europe, it's happening. It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported. And in many cases, the very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it. They have their reasons, and you understand that. So today we deliver a message in one very unified voice to these forces of death and destruction. America and its allies will defeat you. We will defeat them.
So this made Jake Tapper sad. And Jake Tapper brought Kellyanne Conway and basically and Kellyanne Conway was trying to be nice to him too. She was trying to hold out an olive branch. He basically berated her for 25 minutes about Trump attacking them. And this is what he said. He said, she was accusing them of not covering the right stories. And listen to Tapper.
What we're talking about is the fact that the White House is waging war on people who are providing information, sometimes risking their lives to do so, saying that nothing we say is true. All of it is fake. I would much rather be talking to you about veterans issues. In fact, when it comes to the Trump administration, I would be much rather covering immigration, I would much rather be covering trade, and I would much rather be covering draining the swamp and counterterrorism. But instead, every day, there are these sprays of attack and sprays of falsehoods coming from the White House. It would be better if they were not covering from the White House for me and for you.
This has moved me to give Jake Tapper the first Andrew Klavan Award. Here it is.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
That's the world's smallest violin for Jake Tapper. Hey, before I say goodbye to folks on Facebook and YouTube, I want to give myself a plug because speaking of awards, my memoir, The Great Good Thing, is now a finalist in the Audie Award, which is the big awards for Audible books, and in the category of inspirational, faith-based nonfiction. The Great Good Thing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's a finalist in the Audie Awards. It's very nice. It's a real honor. Got to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube, but we're going into the mailbag, so you got to come over to thedailywire.com, and we will change your life, possibly for the better.